Learning and development, L&D, learning and development is the number 2 retention driver in organisations. The number 2 retention driver across the entire workforce. It's really interesting. When you go into that in a little bit of depth, what you actually find is that it's the number 1 retention driver in a lot of the place, particularly with Gen X and Gen Y. And you might be asking yourself, if it's the number 2 retention driver overall, what is the first retention driver? Well, the first retention driver is actually about connection. People, culture, is this a nice place to be? Is this a good place to work? That really works with people. So the number 1 retention driver is people, but number 2 retention driver is learning and development. Gen X, Gen Y, they go, yeah, we don't really mind too much if this isn't such a great place. If there's learning opportunities for us here, what we want to do is spend some time here anyway. So they've got a little bit of a twist on that one. It'll be interesting to see where that goes in the future. In 2009, 7.8 million people, I'm going to put my glasses on here, 7.8 million people participated in one or more formal or non-formal work-related training event. I needed to read those words because they're the words that the Australian Bureau of Statistics uses. They talk about it. So 7.8 million people, that report is released in March of this year. Across Australia, 7.8 million people in the age band of 15 to 64, that is. That's an enormous number of people who are actually getting involved in a formal or non-formal work-related training event. So that's how much stuff is going on in the workplaces throughout Australia. A couple more stats from the Bureau. More than 6.7 million work-related training courses in 2009. More than 6.7 million. Now, if you just work out the number of hours of those, we're talking in the capacity of 20 million hours. If we're doing 20 million hours, the first thing I want to do is go back a couple of slides and say, are you attending? The first instance, yes, you're here. Are you attending? How is it that we can actually get through that process of understanding, engaging, retaining, etc.? 2.85 million people wanted more training. ABS used the training word. We try not to use the training word too much. We talk about learning. But 2.85 million people wanted more training, but didn't because of, number 1, work-related reasons. That's it, too much work to do, followed by lack of time. Work-related reasons, lack of time. You know, that's a really interesting thing for me. When I explore those kinds of issues there, work-related reasons, lack of time, what that says is that the priority that someone's placing in relation to workplace learning is down lower than those two things. How can we shift that balance? What is it that we're doing in relation to all of those hours, 20 million hours, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on where people go, I've got no time for training. I'd love to do more, but I've got no time. So how do we shift that priority to say, I'd love to do more, I'm really busy with some stuff, and I know that what I'm going to get out of this training is going to be so beneficial for me, it's going to support me in my day-to-day work and learning. So that's a process that we're working through and playing through. It's really interesting when you look at the research about what clients say that they want in relation to learning. What they're saying is they want learning to be short, sharp, scintillating, they want it to be time effective, they want it to be cost effective, and they want it to be impactful. Short, sharp, scintillating, time effective, cost effective, impactful. Want to be able to come in, do some stuff, have that stuff make a difference, see how we're going to be able to use that stuff and then go. They want learning to occur where it's needed most, at the speed of change. We've got some issues on our plate, there's some things that are going wrong, we've got some hot spots, we've got some areas which are cool, things that we need to do something about, we need to address this and we need to address it now. Or we've got some things that we need to introduce and implement and create, and we really want to get some working on it, we need to introduce it now. Want learning to be retained. It's the bleeding obvious really, isn't it? You want some people to get involved in learning and development episodes, but at the same time, what you want them to be able to do is to actually use the stuff that they're learning in meaningful ways. So that as they're finished their learning, they can actually start to put stuff into practice and change workplace behaviour. Want staff with critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, problem-solving skills, social skills, soft skills, the stuff of being able to work together in teams and groups, multifaceted, get in, get out, solve, work, do, get on. Want to be able to resolve conflict. Want to be able to support a process of decision making. Want to be able to look at the way that things are occurring in the organisation that cascade down from the top and are able to be implemented. We all know that 85% of any strategic plan in an organisation never gets fully executed. And it's got to do with some of those sorts of skills. But mostly it's about difference in people. Looking at difference in people in terms of what it is. Why are you going and getting yourself involved in that workplace learning? Difference in business strategy. How does the business result from the learning and development you do? And lastly, about the results in relation to the business. How do we see the impact in relation to return on investment, and we see it in relation to the bottom line? Effectiveness, efficiency. How do we see those things going on? So we created Brain Boost. That's really what we've done. We've got an accelerated, brain-based workplace learning solution. I want to focus on a couple of those words there, because what we're not talking about is we're not talking about, oh, this stuff's only about the brain in terms of brain-based learning methodology. No, it's about how to engage the brain in an accelerated way. We're talking about workplace learning solutions, ways to impact positively on the workplace. Some people, when we have these conversations, think, so you do this stuff online? No, you don't. It's face-to-face. All the research still says to us that face-to-face is still going to be the way that people like to engage. We're inherently social beasts. Face-to-face, if done well, is the way that we can go. Motivational, impactful. We've created over 300 of the most popularly requested workplace learning programs, so that we have these as bundled, all ready to go. And it sounds like someone's bass guitar's playing to me. So we have those ready to go. 300 workplace, and they're in the areas, and you have something in your presentation folders there of communication, decision making. There's 25 different topic areas. Each one of them tailorable and customisable to every unique workplace. So we're not talking about pre-packaged bundles, off the shelf, something which says, oh, this is what you need. It's actually the other way around. What is it that you're needing? What are your hotspots right now? Here's what we've got. How can we support and develop with you? Deliverable any time, day or night, any location as well. And the most comprehensive e-commerce site that sits behind it. And some of you going through your processes have wrestled with that, and I don't mean wrestled in that real sense of the word. You've experienced some of it through the registration, through the email. There's a whole e-commerce thing which just makes doing business easy, simple and easy.